About budgets today. Hey, budgets today. Hey, budgets today. We go. Hey guys, it's Angela, the aspiring boss. Today's video is going to be about budgeting. Now, I know, y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all want to spend y'all coins how y'all want to spend y'all coins. But you guys, budgeting is really important. Everybody should have one. So today I'm going to cover some simple steps on how to budget and get your financial life together. So before I begin, I want to throw out a disclaimer. For all you people that have a negative connotation of the word budget, I want you to take that and hear me and just throw it out right now for this video. A lot of people hear the word budget and they think of restriction. But that's not what budgeting is. Budgeting doesn't mean that you can't spend your coins on the fun stuff. Budgeting doesn't mean you can't travel, eat out, my personal fave, and do anything that you want to do. All budgeting means is having a plan for how you spend your money. Now, budgeting is key because it allows you to understand and keep track of how you spend your money. That's important, right? You don't want to just be spending and really not knowing what your expenses are, what you're spending your money on, and how you can maybe change your spending habits to attain other things or save or do whatever your goals are. So while I've got you guys here for these next few minutes, just kind of have an open mind when it comes to budgeting. And if you follow my tips and tricks on this video, this really might be the beginning of a new financial life for you. Okay, so everybody should have a budget, you guys. Everybody. You can say you make a bunch of money, so what? You can make a little bit of money, so what? Everyone should have a budget. When I was preparing for this video, I thought of my friend who I was having a conversation with like a few months ago, and she was talking about Vegas, and I was like, oh yeah, I can't go. It's not in my budget because I already budgeted my trips or whatever for the year, and Vegas didn't make the cut. And she was like, oh, that's so good, dude, that you have a budget. Like I should get one, but I'm just not a budgeting type of girl. And y'all, I looked at the phone and I was like, did she just say? Nah, she didn't. Okay. There's no such thing as a budgeting type of person. Everybody should have a budget, like I said. Billion-dollar businesses have budgets. Amazon, yeah, they got a budget. Everyone should have a budget. So if you like my friend and you don't think you're a budgeting type of girl, change the name. You can call it your spending plan, your glow up plan, whatever. Just have one, okay? All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the tea on how to get that budget together, okay? So tip number one is to set financial goals. And you might say, well, what's that got to do with my budgeting? Well, I'll tell you. So in order to budget, for me, I set goals that I want to achieve outside of my necessities so I know how to work my budget, because you're going to ideally have money left over from the things that you owe, and then you allocate what you spend your money on. So my first tip is set financial goals, and that way you know how to set your budget accordingly. So for example, say that you want to save $3,000 so you can go on a trip to Mexico, right? So you want to go on that trip in 2021, and so you want to save that $3,000 in 2020. So how are you going to save that? Most people try to save monthly so they can build up and give themselves time to save. So if you have that goal in mind that you know you need to save $3,000, you got to set your budget accordingly. So having those goals in the forefront will allow you to make sure you're setting your budget accordingly later. All right, so we got that. So step one, set financial goals. Alrighty. Okay, so step two is going to be have a budget. All right, so this is probably going to be the meat of the tip, because you should have a budget, but I'm going to tell you how to budget. All right, so there are so many ways out there to budget. There's so many methods. Today, we're just going to talk about the basics, right? Because some of y'all don't even have a budget to start with, so y'all don't have time to be talking about snowball, 50, 30, 20, and all of that stuff. So we're just going to start with the basics. So the important thing to know about budgeting is that you should be budgeting on a month-to-month basis. It's important to set your budget monthly because your expenses will change by month based on what you have planned for that month. So for example, the holidays are coming up. I'm going to need to be traveling to Texas to visit my family both in November and December. So I'll be needing travel expenses and just expenses that I normally wouldn't spend on a normal, regular September month or whatever. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you're going to sit down and write out your expenses, or type, because it's 2019 and I know a lot of us are not writing anything these days. So sit down and write or type out your expenses. You're going to start with your necessities. Your necessities are the things that are usually reoccurring, or the things that you must pay for that month. So for me, my necessities would be rent, mortgage, or utilities, gas, my car note, anything like that that I have to pay, that if I don't pay it, somebody gonna be looking for their money. That for me is a necessity. That's how I see things. And honestly, I even use my savings I even count my savings as a necessity, but that's another video. We're just gonna get y'all on the budget, and then we'll tackle the savings in another video, because I got a whole lot to say on that. All right, so once you get those necessities down, then we can move on to what I call the wants, right? And a lot of people might be like, wants, hey, yeah, finally, we talking about all the fun stuff. But wants are more than just, you know, saving for the traveling and the eating out and the going out and stuff like that. Wants are also for those other things that you want to tackle, like paying off extra credit card debt. So you want to pay more than the minimum that you have on your credit card, or you want to save extra money than you're already saving, or you want to pay off 2 times the debt payment that you usually pay off. So those type of things are also wants, because you don't have to do it. No one's going to be coming after you if you pay more than the minimum of your credit card. But if you want to get your financial life together, you might do that. But again, the wants also include the fun stuff too. So that's where you allocate those things. And with the wants, the good thing about the wants is you have a lot more deference in how you allocate it, because it's your money left over. You've already taken care of the necessities, right? So then you write down those wants. And this is where the financial goals come in. You see why I had you do the financial goals? Because when you're sitting down and you're writing down your necessities, right, you know you have these set expenses, but then you look at the money left over. Well, how am I going to allocate this accordingly? You keep that in mind, that you have that financial goal of you need to save $3,000. So you might not put $100 towards eating out. You might put 50, who knows? But that is how you should write down your expense. So yes, that's where your financial goals come in, because since you've already set your financial goals, step number 1, you can work your budget around to those financial goals so you can actually meet or reach those financial goals. So like I said, a lot of people are not writing down their expenses. Some people are old school and like to write down their expenses. Me, I don't like writing down my expenses. I use an app. It's called the Every Dollar app. And I actually got hit to this app when I took the Dave Ramsey money course or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll link it down below. I took the Dave Ramsey money course, and that was the app that they suggested that we use. And so I took that a couple years ago, but still use that app because I just found it really helpful for me. And so I'll drop in a picture of what the app looks like, and then below I'll link the app. It's free. They do have a paid version, but I like to keep all my coins, so I just use the free version. It helps for me. So basically, I take the app, I open the app, and then I write in all my expenses, and it works really easy. Okay, so now that we got our budget, it's time to move on to step number 3. Step number 3, in my opinion, is probably the most important step. I know, right? You would think step number 2, actually writing the budget, but no. Step number 3 is super important. So for step number 3, you got this budget written down, right? You doing it, right? No. So once you have that budget down, it's time for you to track and reconcile your budget. Now, for all you non-accountants out there, when I say reconcile, I basically mean just track your actual expenses versus your planned expenses. So, for example, say that you budgeted $100 for eating out, right? And then you got hungry and you went to Chick-fil-A and you got a number 8 and a milkshake. That's my personal favorite order. And you spent approximately $12, right? So now that you spent that $12, you don't have $100 anymore for Chick-fil-A or in any other eating out. You now have $88. So you need to be tracking that, so you know I only have $88 to spend for the rest of the month. And it's the first. So I need to stretch that out. So reconciling is tracking and looking at what you actually spent for the month versus what you planned for the month. So you remember that I mentioned the Every Dollar app in step 2 for writing down my expenses so I can plan out my budget, but I also use it for step number 3 with reconciling my budget. So what I do is I'll basically go to whatever category that I've spent money in, open that up, and then type in that expense so I can keep track of what I spent. And I did say, I think already, that there's a paid version where you can link your bank accounts, and so it'll automatically track things for you. So like you don't have to go and put that $12 in Chick-fil-A. It'll already put it in fast food, in your fast food budget. But your girl likes to keep all her coins. You know, the paid version is not in my budget, so I don't use that. But either way, it's helpful. If you don't use the paid version, you just have to do a little bit more manual work, but I think it's worth it. I'd rather save my coins than pay. So whatever you guys think. There are two reasons why reconciling your budget is so important in my book. The first is it allows you to see how well or how not so well you stuck to your budget. The second reason is it'll allow you to see where you need to adjust your budget, and that's super important. Now, with that being said, that leads me to step number 4. Step number 4 is review your budget and adjust accordingly. You should review your budget to make sure that it's actually realistic to your situation. So that's one of the problems with not having a budget. You have no idea what your expenses are because you don't keep track, right? So when you have a budget and you see, oh, wow, I'm not spending actually as much money as I thought I was. Or you see, oh, I'm under budgeting for how much I actually spend on that. So back to my Chick-fil-A example. Say that at the end of October, right, out of the $100 that I budgeted, I actually spent $200. And then at the end of November, same thing, I spent like $215. And then at the end of December, I spent $189. Okay, so that's 3 months in a row. I'm realizing something's got to change. I have to adjust my budget. So either you know that you are allocating way too little money for food or eating out, or you need to change your habits. But you know something has to change, and that budget is, right now is not realistic for your situation. So it allows you to review and adjust accordingly. So back to that Chick-fil-A example where I'm spending $200 on eating out, even though I've only budgeted $100. Well, you can look at other categories. So say I have been budgeting $200 for gas, and for 3 months straight, I've only been spending roughly $100. You know that you're probably over budgeting for gas. So you have an option of moving that $100 to the Chick-fil-A. So the amount of money that you're spending doesn't change, but your budget is more accurate. But my point is that reviewing your budget on a consistent periodic basis will allow you to actually have an accurate budget. All right, guys, so those are my 4 steps on how to budget, right? So let's just go through them really quick so we remember. So the first step is to set financial goals. The second step is to actually plan and create a budget. The third step is to track and reconcile your budget. The fourth step is to review your budget periodically and adjust as necessary. Now, you know I'm not done. Y'all know I'm not done, right? Okay, so although those are the main 4 steps, I do have some extra tips and tricks that I'm gonna share with you guys. Okay, so first, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about in my disclaimer before. Still do things you enjoy. I don't want you to get on this budget and just feel like you just can't have any fun. You can't live life. It's all about saving, and paying your bills on time and all that. Like, yes, all those are important, but you still want to enjoy life. You guys work hard. You deserve to enjoy life. So still do things that you enjoy. Just do it on a budget. All right. The second tip is to leave a buffer. Now, things can come up, things can happen. So I wouldn't allot every single penny in my budget. I would leave a few dollars to just create a buffer just in case things come up. And then you also do have variable expenses, right? Your water bill isn't the same amount every month. It's probably within $5 of what the last bill was, but it's not the same. So leave a buffer. That way you don't end up, strapped in with no. The third tip is trim your budget where you can. Now, let's go back to the Chick-fil-A example for this one. So remember when we were spending way less money on gas than we thought we were, and so we moved it over to our eating out budget so we can have more Chick-fil-A? Well, you could actually trim your budget in the sense of, hey, I'm going to stick to that $100 that I did for eating out. I'm just going to change my habits, and then I'm going to lower my budget for gas to $100, and that extra $100, I'm going to put that towards savings or something else because I actually don't need that extra $100 like I thought I did. So that's just a tip. The fourth tip is cut back on unnecessary expenses. Now, what I'm about to say is going to be shady to y'all, some of y'all, and even in myself. But the gym. Now disclaimer, I truly believe everybody should be working out. We should be healthy. We should be all of that. But if you have that gym membership and you ain't been in a month of Sundays, girl, Bye, gym. Cancel it. Because all you're doing is giving them your coins and you're not going to the gym where you could be saving that money or allocating it to somewhere else. So if you're not going to stick to it, bye, gym. Okay? All right, my 5th tip, y'all gonna like this one. It's reward yourself. If y'all are anything like me, I thrive on just small rewards and things to look forward to. So reward yourself when you stick into your budget. It'll make you feel good and it'll give you the confidence and the happiness to keep going and be consistent on your budget. All right, guys, so now you have my 4 steps on how to budget and a couple extra tips and tricks. So here are my takeaways. One thing to keep in mind is that it might take you a while to figure out your budget. You won't just budget for 1 month and get it right. It's going to take you a few tries. So keep hanging in there and keep adjusting as necessary and you will get it right. Do not get discouraged. The second thing I want to leave you guys with is please, 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 please don't make the same mistake that I made when I first started budgeting. And this is, if you mess up or go over budget in one category, please don't give up and don't get discouraged. Now, budgeting is something that it's something that you're going to have to learn to do. It's a habit that you're going to have to build. So you will mess up. You might go over budget, but do not let that make you stop. Do not let that make you give up or get discouraged. Keep going and you'll get it eventually. Now, like I said, I used to do this and I was bad too, you guys. I would go over in one category and be like, oh man, I messed up and I'm just going to start over next month and I'm going to really get it right this next time. And then I would mess up in the next month and then keep starting over. So really what I was doing is I was using it as a crutch to not budget. And if you do that, you're never going to get where you need to get financially. So you guys, please, please, please don't make the same mistakes that your girl made, okay? All right, guys. So, well, thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful for you guys because, like I said, everybody needs a budget. Start today. Do not wait till the first of the month. Start today. You can do a 1-week budget. You can do a 3-week budget. Just start today, you guys. And I'm going to link down below anything that I mentioned. And feel free to comment and message me about anything that has to do with budgeting, any questions you have, what I used. Like I said, I took the Dave Ramsey course. I can do a whole video on that. And then I kind of dropped some nuggets about savings. I'm definitely going to do a video about that. So you guys just please tell me below in the comments what kind of videos you want to see about finances. And I'm totally happy to do them. But I really hope this video was helpful for you guys. And I'm really ready for you guys to start budgeting. So get on it. Start doing it today. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I need you to do your girl a favor. Please like and subscribe and then share it with your friends and have them like and subscribe. I'm trying to spread the word. I'm trying to get y'all to budget because we doing it right. And we not going to wait to 2020. We starting it now. Yes, I know it's November, but we starting it now. No need to wait until January when we can start now. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.